Hold a Ukrainian Pysanka in your hand and the first surprise is its scale. The surface is no larger than an ordinary egg, but it can carry a whole map of lines, stars, leaves, animals, crosses and tiny fields of color. The word Pysanka comes from the idea of writing. The design is not simply brushed onto the shell. It is built in stages with wax and dye, one protected line at a time. That difference matters. A painted egg begins with color placed on the surface. A Pysanka begins with a decision about what must remain untouched. The maker warms a small tool called a kistka, fills it with beeswax, and draws the first lines on the clean shell. Those lines will keep the first color safe. The egg enters a pale dye. More wax is added. Then it enters a darker dye. The sequence continues from light to dark until much of the shell may look nearly black. Only at the end does the design fully appear. The shell is gently warmed and the wax is wiped away. White lines return first, then yellow, red and every color that was sealed beneath another layer. The process is closely related to wax-resist methods such as batik, but the curved shell changes everything. There is no flat front and no natural edge. Every band has to meet itself on the far side of the egg. The geometry often begins by dividing the shell. A line around the widest point creates two halves. Crossing bands can make quarters, triangles or narrow belts. Inside them, the maker places dots, crosses, rosettes, plant forms and animal shapes. The result can be perfectly measured or slightly irregular. That small irregularity is part of the object. It records the movement of a real hand around a fragile surface. Pysanky are associated with spring and Easter, and the tradition carries layers from different periods. Older solar and seasonal signs continued beside Christian symbols of resurrection. UNESCO describes the practice as a centuries-old Ukrainian tradition and notes that wishes and messages can be expressed through the chosen symbols. In 2024, the tradition was placed on UNESCO's representative list of the Intangible Cultural Heritage of Humanity in a joint nomination by Ukraine and Estonia. There is no single Ukrainian Pysanka style. Regional examples can look as different as local embroidery or ceramics. The Internet Encyclopedia of Ukraine describes stylized plants and geometric forms in central regions, more naturalistic flowers in parts of Chernihiv, restrained dark palettes near Drohobych, stronger contrasts near Kalush, and intricate geometric work among Hutzelmakers. These are tendencies, not a rigid code, but they show how much local memory can fit on one shell. The online collection of the Ivan Honchar Museum makes that variety easy to see. Its catalog includes examples from Pakutia, Bukovina, Podylia, the Lenko area, the Hutzel region and the Sea of Azov region. Some catalog names are direct and wonderfully specific: flower, white storks, fish, arrowheads, butterflies, horses, goats, oak leaves and rams. The vocabulary comes from fields, forests, animals, tools, and the shapes people saw around them. Color also changes the mood. A black field can make a fine white line look almost metallic. Red can carry warmth and intensity. Yellow can feel like light held under wax. Yet a motif does not behave like a universal alphabet. Meaning can change by region, family and maker. A careful viewer should resist the urge to decode every triangle as if it had one fixed translation. The egg is a composition, not a phrasebook. Traditionally, makers prepared dyes from plant materials, including roots, bark and skins. Synthetic dyes later became common because they are predictable and strong. The basic logic remains the same: wax protects a color, dye changes the exposed shell, and the maker repeats the cycle. A mistake cannot always be erased. It is often absorbed into the next band or turned into a new detail. That is one reason the craft is best understood by watching hands rather than only looking at finished eggs. A family member shows how hot the kistka should be. Someone explains why the shell must be clean and dry. A learner discovers how slowly to turn the egg while keeping the tool steady. Knowledge moves through demonstration, correction, and repetition. UNESCO's description treats this person-to-person transmission as central to the living tradition. The finished object may be displayed, exchanged, blessed at Easter, kept as a family piece or studied as folk art. But the act of making is just as important as the result. The room becomes quiet. The shell turns a few millimeters at a time. A line disappears under dark dye with no guarantee that it will look right later. The maker has to remember every color already hidden beneath the wax. This also explains why photographs never quite capture a Pysanka. The design travels around the whole form. Turn it and one rosette becomes a border, turn it again and the border opens into another field. The eye follows lines that vanish behind the curve and return on the opposite side. It is an artwork that asks to be handled carefully and seen in motion. Modern workshops and museums have widened access to the craft, while families and individual makers continue to write their own eggs. New tools and synthetic colors do not automatically make the practice less traditional. A living tradition survives because people use it, teach it and adapt it without losing the method that gives it meaning. A Pysanka begins as a fragile shell and a few lines of wax. Then it gathers color by hiding it. That reversal is the quiet magic of the craft. The image is made by protecting what the viewer cannot yet see. When the wax finally melts away, the past stages return together, and the egg reveals a record of every choice the maker made.